Three, two, welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I'm your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, David Hall.
Hello.
Welcome, Greg Hectus.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, and Brad Wren.
Hey, ready for the summer Olympic break from NIS?
And welcome back, John Curley.
Yeah, I found my way back home.
On today's show, we will see what is the current situation with Fanatec. Take a look at the true Real to Sim project. Ask how is 2024 NIS season going for you. See what's new. See what the new wheel is as good as it gets. Check out a track guide from the current F1 champ. And does Intel have issues with their current chipset?
That's right, Mike. And remember that you can follow along with us on your PC or your mobile device in real time as you listen to the show and see for yourself all of the great topics and products we'll discuss by visiting iRacersLounge.com. Select the show notes. Hope to see you there.
Man, literally iRacing.
All right, first up, we have Bernard Pollard Jr., or as his self-proclaimed title, Black Bell Jr., discussing on, I guess this is TikTok or Instagram, basically expressing how all of us were feeling in the last couple of weeks.
Running 10th, running the 9th place car down, the 8th place car down.
Pain for losing iRating for registering for a race that's getting DDoSed. It happened to me once, actually. I'm sure I was on vacation for a big portion of that, though.
Yeah, it's been quiet the last week, so hopefully maybe we've seen the last of it.
Yeah, they had the big charity race last night that went off without a hitch. I think if it was still happening, it certainly would have happened during that event. But then you have the Spa 24 coming up, and I think that's the real test. Will the attacker attack the Spa? What's neat about this guy is he's got that racing passion. He's got that same, oh crap, I just lost 100 iRating, It's kind of neat when you have that kindred spirit with somebody.
He isn't. We haven't seen much from him in a while. He was going crazy there on Twitter and X with posting and talking about NASCAR. It seems like he quieted down a bit now. Obviously, he's a little bit outraged this time, right?
Well, it's definitely just expressing what everybody was going through. All right. So we know what music always comes up next. You're probably already hearing it at this point once it's edited. But we've got more Fanatec news, Brad.
Yes, we've got an updated article from Overtake. So as of July 16th, so again, the battle for Fanatec or Indoor could take quite a turn soon. Most latest press release from Indoor appears that the German court, and if we remember, that's this whole thing that's going through basically like a bankruptcy or whatever they call it, has authorized that two of the Indoor shareholders to hold an extraordinary general meeting with multiple agenda items. Most importantly, is the withdrawal of confidence from the members of the management board. So some of the agenda items are resolution on the dismissal of the supervisory board, the resolution on the election of the supervisory board. Again, there's just it's continuing drama that's coming out of this. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, and it just doesn't sound good. I know we've got another story later in the script in regards to, I guess, one of the manufacturing places in China is having issues as well. So I don't have a whole lot of confidence that it doesn't sound like Fanatec may be around for too much longer.
And later in the article, it mentions Corsair has already provided 4 million euros and owns most of the design trademarks of the products at this point.
So does that mean that if it gets dissolved or whatever happens to Fanatec, that Corsair could make their own version of this stuff.
Right, because they own the trademarks. It says they have both the QR1, QR2, Club Sport DD Plus, CSL DD wheelbases, and the Podium Button Module Endurance, and several more.
This screenshot for the I guess for the article is kind of misleading because do we actually believe that they have anything in stock for people to actually get?
I actually just saw as I was scrolling through Facebook somebody saying they got their DD Plus today. So they're still shipping as of now.
I don't know. I wouldn't buy a thing from them.
Neither would I. So does this mean that some stockholders are trying to block the sale, essentially?
Something along those lines. It's quite confusing, and we'll cover that other story now, which basically says there's a supplier that actually supplies parts for these products. They haven't been paid, and so they're like on quote strike or something. It's something happening in China where the original suppliers aren't getting paid.
Yeah, it says that they've been shut down for weeks. Employees are protesting. So this is in Shenzhen. Um, yeah, just not good.
So even though you might get a product if you buy it, what kind of support structure do you have in the future? What guarantees do you have of a warranty? It's only as good as the company. So yeah, don't buy Fanatec right now.
All right, well, let's move on. John, can you tell us a little bit about Kevin Combs?
I sure can. So we've got this week's iRacing Spotlight, staff member profile. Technical art director Kevin Combs. Now, this is a little interesting story on Kevin. He's been around a while. He's been with iRacing from the very beginning, and he even goes back. He was doing the Papyrus games, playing those, and I think he was involved. Some of you guys will remember this Project Wildfire, and that was, if I recall, it was the 2003 NASCAR racing. They did some mods and made some things available, I think mostly for the trucks. Is that right?
Did trucks and they did Trans Am.
But this guy's got a pretty cool job. He gets to do some artwork. I did catch that he is working on the new rendering too with the engineers, which we're all excited about. So yeah, he's got a pretty interesting job with the company.
Yeah, it's kind of neat to humanize these guys a little bit. Let's see their face. Let's hear about what they do in their life and what they're working on, and kind of neat to hear that he's interested in that new graphical engine that they're working on, and it's obviously in progress.
Notice too, he's got a picture posted of I guess it's his home game room, but he's got a couple of shelves with some of those old boxes of NASCAR Heat, Papyrus Racing. I've still got those too.
This next
The
one's
original flight sim.
Sorry. Are we good with that topic? All right, this next one's going to almost get me on a rant. iRating tips. And we've got a list of 5 here. It's a video produced. Who produced it, Brad?
Rating look a little bit like
This is done by Pit Out Racing.
Perfect video.
Cool. So you got Don't Chase It, which is a good idea. Your iRating is gonna about land where it's supposed to. Do What You Enjoy, which I can't remember the last time I enjoyed an NIS race. Analyze, Not Blame, and that's really kind of that sounds kind of like a liberal thought process. Practice, yeah, except unless you're Mike, and avoid crashes.
Well, so I think this is kind of geared towards beginners, but look, these are things I think each of us can take. I think we all get obsessed to some degree with iRating at times, and it ends up limiting what we do. Um, look, I'm guilty for it. I will avoid running an oval race sometimes because I'm too worried about points for NIS and I want to keep my iRating up as high as possible. But like you said, David, it will land where it's going to land. It's going to move, it's going to go up, it's going to go down, but eventually you'll get to where you should be. Do what you enjoy. Look, just enjoy it. Don't worry about it. Don't get so caught up in all of it. The analyze, not blame. He brings up a good point. Look, if you're in an accident or things happen on the track, take the time, go back and look and see what happened. We've talked about this before. I try to save most of my replays because if something happens to me, I try to go back in and look and say, look, even if I wasn't at fault, did I put myself in a position, that led to what happened? Had I decided to wait another lap or take it a little bit easier or whatever it is, did I put myself into a position where I increased the chance of somebody being stupid, even if it wasn't my fault? Practice, of course, is what it is, but then avoid crashes. Again, I think it's not a very long video. Sometimes I think it's good just to be for a reminder for us that we shouldn't get so caught up sometimes in iRating. Going back to the video by Bernard Pollard, same thing. I mean, again, it's just we all can get wrapped up into I'm losing iRating, I'm losing iRating. You know what? Just let's enjoy it, have fun sometimes.
What can we add to the list? The one that comes to mind for me is race in moderation. Don't overdo it. Sometimes beginners to get so caught up in what iRacing is and what the possibilities of real competition, and you're doing it every waking moment you have when you're not working. You're going to burn out. You're going to burn out. You're going to burn out. You're going to get sick of it. You'll walk away from it. You'll come back to it. Do it in moderation. I do that already. I only run, a handful of races a week. I don't camp out, on iRacing all day long on my day off. I still just run one or two, maybe three races a day if I do that.
All right. How do you like IMSA cars at Bristol? We did this, didn't we? And it ended up being, no, we went to Dover and ended up being too easy and flat out. But we've got a video of Greg.
Yeah, so iRacing posted on YouTube, and then obviously Alex Horn posted a clip from from his Twitter X page of the IMSA cars going around Bristol, and I just still think it's probably one. I think it's, in my mind, it's so entertaining to just watch what's going on. There's so much going on the screen. Like we build these big hefty PCs and everything like that, and the amount of stuff that's going on in those shots, just thinking what your computer's going through to render it all, and the one that accident there is just so bad. But yeah, I love watching this clip every time it's up, but I think we should do these more often. It sounds like we got a little taste of a smaller version we're going to announce in a little bit later of something IMSA's going to do, but I kind of think this is what would be really cool if they did it, but we know they can't.
Well, one thing was they were not checking up. Cautions were not on, and they were definitely, I almost wonder that damage was either, I don't know if damage was on or not, because cars will still do all the pieces flying off and then they repair themselves magically afterwards, but they were racing like they didn't care.
And that's the fun of that, because when damage is off, the cars do break when you crash, but within a second you're back, rolling again. And so those guys just, do another 10-second lap and come back around and wreck again. So
do we know why they still wreck the car completely with damage off? Wouldn't that be kind of a waste of resources when you have that option off? I guess maybe it just keeps it so there's less coding to do.
It's a lot of particles and rubber and pieces flying everywhere. Like you said, the graphic card's working overtime. Be a good test.
All right, this next video is really cool. I'm gonna cover this one.
It hurts my
Nebon,
brain. It hurts my brain.
1951.
not really. I mean, he just did it. It's super spreadsheet nerdery, basically. Nebon has done the math and calculated everybody's real life